What is that one question that cyclists don't like to be asked? Nah, that we don't like to be asked. When you see us on the road, or you're admiring what we're wearing, you're admiring our bikes, you're admiring just the sheer opulence of cycling.
Hello and welcome to another video courtesy of CHECK-A-CYCLIST. As always, my name is Maverick the Broadcaster and I'm here to dish out some of the great and exciting news when it comes to the world of cycling. Alright, let's get into it now. A couple of times as a cyclist, I've encountered people on the road while riding, maybe in my hood, in my township, or maybe riding with friends even, where people have asked me how to become a cyclist or what to do to become a cyclist. And let me tell you, there's one question that I know most cyclists absolutely dislike to be asked, especially living in a country like ours, South Africa. A country, unfortunately, ridden with quite some crime. And when it comes to the crime of the bicycle, it's even bigger. I've heard a lot of my friends talking about how, unfortunately, they were ambushed or they were, their bikes were stolen or, they got into a hit and run and all that stuff, and most of the times, because the cycling world has this thing about, expensive bikes and all, then there is a problem when it comes to you actually feeding information to the general public about how much certain things when it comes to cycling costs. But in any case, it's not just in cycling. It's almost everywhere when it comes to the crime that we have in the country. But it seemed at a time that they were targeting cyclists, and especially in some parts of the country. I know that there has been people involved in accidents, hit and runs and so forth, but there's also a very high crime rate of cyclists' bicycles getting stolen and even some of their personal belongings, right? And that is really quite a very disappointing thing about living in South Africa and being a cyclist in South Africa. Most of the times when I'm out cycling and doing my thing on the bike and I'm going from one place to the other, I am wearing cycling gear, right? And I'm wearing shoes, I'm wearing a helmet, I've got a cycling computer, and then I've got this baby right here, which actually cost me zero. Yeah, believe it or not, because it actually came from my insurance. And yes, we do insure these babies because they are that precious and special to us as avid cyclists, right? I'm sure if you're an avid cyclist, you do have insurance for your bike, especially if it costs more than you can afford, right? So it is always a good thing to insure your bike and to make sure that some of your valuables are insured, like your bike, all right? And you should insure things that are really precious to you. So most cyclists and most avid cyclists, in fact, do insure their bikes. And once you get into some of these circles of friends, of people that you ride with, of course, they are going to show you some things. They are going to interest you in some things and some of the products that they've used. And then you move up the ladder. And while that is going on, my friend, you then realize that they once told me that cycling is an elitist sport. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't have to be an elitist sport. You can actually get some of these products at some stores that actually have them in a much more lesser price point than what some of your avid cyclist friend could tell you that this cost $1,000 so, or $5,000 or so. I mean, there's different products, and we are going to talk about some of these products on our channel. We are going to talk about shoes, we are going to talk about helmets. In fact, I'll tell you the story about these, right? These babies right here. Let me tell you, these also I got for zero, nothing. But I was lucky. right? I was just lucky at some point in time. And the story of how I got these and how I got this is just absolutely a miracle that one day I'll put together in a video, and I'll tell you all about my cycling story, where it began, how it became that I came to this point in my cycling. And what I have now, most of it is really just been a blessing and nothing else. But enough about all of that. I'm sure now you would like to know, what is that one question that cyclists don't like to be asked? Nah, that we don't like to be asked. When you see us on the road, or you are admiring what we're wearing, you are admiring our bikes, you are admiring just the sheer opulence of cycling, you just want to ask questions, don't you? As somebody who would love to get into cycling, well, let me tell you, there is just one question that you shouldn't ask, especially about this baby, all right? The bike. Because most of the times, people will ask about the bike, while some of this stuff actually even costs quite a bit more than you wouldn't think that it does. Now, we're talking about that one question that you shouldn't ask a cyclist when you see them on the road, my friend. That question is simply,
how much it is? How much it is?
That is actually a wrong question to ask. The right question that you're supposed to be asking is, where can I buy it? Right? Yeah. Don't ask, how much is it? Because while we're living in this unfortunate crime-ridden country of ours, that information, I am not going to make it privy for you just like that. All right? I'm probably going to forward you to a store that sells some of these bikes. Do not ask how much it costs. Just ask, where can I buy it? Because today, in the age of information, I can simply tell you, you don't even physically have to go to the store. You can just Google it and just check out some of the bikes that they have. And I'm talking about reputable cycling stores, right? There's many of them, galore of these stores that you can actually go and see the bikes yourself. That's if you're really interested in getting into cycling. And if you're really getting into cycling and you ask me, where did I buy this bike? Trust you me, I'm gonna give you all the information that you need about the top 5 stores that I think you should check out in the country. But I can tell you right now, the question that you should never ask a cyclist when you see them on the road is,
how much does it cost? Yeah, how much is it? How much it is? How much? You don't want to tell me how much? Okay, where can I get it?
That's actually the question you should ask. Where can I get it? And all the information I will definitely tell you. And on that bicycle bombshell, that is it, folks. That is the question you should never ask a cyclist, because, yay, kunzima ngaphandle, especially here in Mzansi, it can be 4:10. Oh, anytime. You never know. So you should never ask a cyclist, how much does that cost? In fact, just ask, where can I buy it? How can I get it? In fact, how do I become a cyclist? Just CHECK-A-CYCLIST Ntwana. And to all my avid cycling friends, please comment below, all right? And tell me, what is that one question you don't like to be asked by the general public when you are on your ride? I know you've probably had a couple of people come up to you and ask you different things about cycling. So if you are a cyclist, whether you are a beginner cyclist or you are an avid cyclist, or even if you are a pro, what is that one question as a cyclist
you don't like to be asked?
Make sure that you do tell your family and friends who would love to get into the sport of cycling to subscribe, like, and click that notification bell right here on CHECK-A-CYCLIST for more exciting videos.